Welcome back to A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. It's a Saturday pod today, which means there might be a little bit of alcohol involved. I got my Canadian Mist whiskey over here. Sam, I know you just refilled, I think you said Fireball is what's on tab today.
Water, actually.
Water, yes. Water, if there's a little bit of fire. So today I'm whiskey and cheese. And Sam, I guess I don't even know how to pronounce your Zoom name today, but I would love to learn how, what, why, and everything about it.
You know, Cody, a real cheese fan would know how to pronounce this name. This is Chev. Any French dining fans out there know all about Chev. That is a creamy goat cheese, baby. And I think we're talking a lot about Jacob Misiorowski today. It felt like a good time to bring out some goat cheese. Chev's a goat cheese. It's an awesome cheese. See it on like a strawberry salad, maybe some fennel in there, or some like pistachios or something like that. But raspberry vinaigrette goes great with the Chev. Goat cheese.
I guess I got to tell you, I've not been in a room that has probably have been fancy enough to have Chev on hand. Did you say pistachios there? Like that's out of my class, man. Like you've been in some places, which I mean, actually, while we're talking about it, I'm flying first class tomorrow as I'm going out to Utah.
That's legroom, baby.
I mean, whether or not I was supposed to allow first class in my budget from work, that's to be discussed later, but I'm going to do it anyway, and we're doing it. So, yeah, I'll be out to Utah tomorrow, and Chev goat cheese. We got to talk about the greatest start to a starting pitcher career in Major League Baseball history. Jacob Misiorowski yesterday went into the 7th inning with a perfect game still intact. He's the first pitcher in Major League history to not allow a hit in his first 11 innings pitched as a starter. It got to the point where I was out last night. I mean, my wife came back into town over near Green Bay. We went out to a bar and grill. We got our fish fry. Naturally, you have to on a Friday night in Wisconsin, especially near Green Bay. Like the perch, I don't know what it is about the perch over here, but it's incredible. But when it gets like the 3rd and the 4th inning, like I start seeing the numbers of like, oh, Byron Buxton is leading off the 4th inning. There's no hits. I know what that means. So then I kind of nudge Bree, and Bree knows what's going on nowadays. Where like when these things start to happen, you don't say anything about it. And I am just locked in. Like we're supposed to be catching up with family, but when you got a kid out there on the mound dealing like this in the kind of situation that he had going on, you have to zone in. And then it got up to that 7th inning. I went up and I sat at the bar and sat down next to a very, I'll say even generously, a very casual baseball fan. And he's like, well, how are the Brewers doing today? And I was like, I can't really tell you. But then it popped up on the screen, which I don't know why, but we were watching the Twins broadcast, and It said Jacob Misiorowski, perfect game through 6 innings. And I nudged him and I said, hey, this is what's going on, because you can't say the words. You can't say perfect game. You can't say no-hitter, or you jinx it. And he looks over at his wife. He's like, hey, Miz has a perfect game going. 2 pitches later, he allows a walk. And I was like, all right. I'm just going to let you know you jinxed that one. You can't say the words when it happens. But he still has something else intact. And then he looked at the screen, and the Twins broadcast popped up there, and it said, Jacob Misiorowski, no-hitter through 6. And he looked at his wife and said, oh, no. Hey, Miz has a no-hitter through 6. And the next pitch, Matt Wallner sends it into the right field seats.
Oh, God.
I'm a superstitious guy, not even just a little stitious. I'm superstitious. And I am going to blame it to John, who was drinking out in Greenleaf, Wisconsin yesterday at a Friday night.
That guy botched it. He botched it, dude. He botched a career moment for everybody.
Yes, he did. We have not seen a perfect game in Brewers history. I think there's only been 23 pitched in Major League history, which, I mean, there have been many occasions that guys go through 6, but there have only been 2 no-hitters in Brewers history, and there have been a lot of no-hitters in Major League history when you look at the entire history of the league, but the Brewers only have the 2, and one of them was a combined no-hitter, and that was Josh Hader and Corbin Burns. So to see a guy like go that deep, those were the nights when I was growing up that my dad would let me and my brothers stay up late. Like if Chase Anderson was going deep into a ball game, like he's got a no-hitter through 6, we could
Cody,
stay
did you
up
watch
past bedtime.
did you watch the Dave Bush game? I think Dave Bush went 7 2/3 once, and it was like middle of a Tuesday afternoon, and all of a sudden we're all Dave Bush, he's perfect so far. Dave Bush had a day back. It might have been circa 2006 or something gross like that, but the Dave Bush day was up there, and now it's Jacob Misiorowski is in elite company, hanging out with Dave Bush up there.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And I mean, what we saw in those numbers right away, he's still, through his first 2 starts, he has given up just the 1 hit. And it was that home run for 2 runs. But through 11 innings, just the 2 runs allowed and just 1 hit. And this Minnesota team is a solid major league lineup. You have Carlos Correa hitting in the middle of that lineup. You have Byron Buxton having a solid year. Harrison Bader has learned how to hit this year. And he was just nails through 6, and then to start the 7th along the walk and a home run. But it was even a build off of what we saw in his major league debut, which I can't say I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting this, but I was expecting electricity. Seeing Castro hit the absolute dirt yesterday in the 2nd inning. He comes out, first inning, he's back up at 101. The pitches are efficient. No walks. 2nd inning, Castro absolutely swings. I haven't seen a hitter get crisscrossed like that and look terrible. This is not your 9-hole hitter. Castro's hitting 287 on the season right now. This is a really, really good veteran professional baseball player, and he absolutely ate dirt. And Contreras looked him down for about 4 seconds as everybody's walking off the field. Contreras was just checking him out, wondering if his helmet is still on his head. My gosh, ankle breaking pitches are going to be a thing for this kid. It is filthy. I was watching the Twins broadcast as well yesterday. I just illegally stream. I'm going to be honest. I find something on the internet and it works for me. And so I was watching a Twins stream. Their announcers, their guests were flabbered. They said, that is some filth, pitching ninja. Fire it up. We are going to be seeing that one on repeat for a long time. And sure enough, today, as I pull up my social media, I saw a few of them in a row, and I started to count. There was 7. I opened up my Instagram. My first 7 reels, my first 7 posts in a row were all that same pitch.
Yeah.
The first time I launched the little time sucking app this morning, I see 7 Jacob Misiorowski sliders right on the hands, and Castro hitting the dirt. And you know what? That was the first time. So I think when they see when the Twins see a leader of their team hit the dirt, they want to start hitting that guy. And they want to have his back. And so you saw in like the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, there's a grounder, just a ground out in the top of the 6th, or in the 6th, and it would have been bottom, top of 6th. And whoever got thrown out looked pissed off that we can't get a hit off this guy. We are trying so hard as a team. It has been 18 up and 18 down so far, and the Twins were getting absolutely rattled. They were not having a good time getting hosed by this 23-year-old.
Yeah, and this has become a testament, I think, to the Brewers development system when it comes to pitching. All of these guys have this mentality.
He's a JUCO kid. Everybody looked past him. This is crazy.
Both Aaron Ashby and Jacob Misiorowski actually went to the same junior college. I can't remember the name of it, but it was kind of awesome in his major league debut. 8 of the 9 innings were completed by the same junior college on the mound. And that point was brought up on the Brewer Fanatic podcast, so I got to shout out Spencer Michaelis on that. But he's a JUCO kid, and all of these guys, they have this tenacious mentality where when you start to feel like things can slip, you don't let it. You continue to fight. Like when there's a guy that gets on base, like Miz can have an uncompetitive at-bat where there are 4 pitches outside of the zone. What happens after that? How do you overcome that? And he comes and he attacks. And what I was texting with my friend Aaron Morse from ESPN Lacrosse today, I was asking like what he thinks of this team overall. And I was just telling him about the extent that this whole pitching staff has this mentality. And the fact that we have not seen Abner Uribe completely lose his mind on the mound this year is like a testament to that. We've seen how much fire this guy has, but they've been able to contain it and control it and channel it and make these guys as good as they are. And it might not be flashy all the time, or it might not be sexy, because a lot of these guys aren't as talented as like a Jacob Misiorowski or like even a Freddie Peralta, but they find a way to get things done. That's how you saw Tobias Myers have a really solid year last year. He's not that great of a pitcher, but a lot of this is just the mentality and how do we fight through things when they start to slip away. And when you get a kid like Jacob Misiorowski coming in with a system where the entire staff has the same mental capacity to continue to fight regardless of what has happened in the past, the sky is the limit. And you're starting to see it here. The first 11 innings pitched, they haven't been able to touch him. Just the one hit allowed. And I'll say, even that home run that was allowed, if that didn't hit the jet stream out in right field, like, we might have a completely different conversation today. Misiorowski has... I've never seen anything like this before. It's historical. I think his hat and his jersey are going to the Hall of Fame because of that start that he had to his career, and it's well-deserved. And this could be a guy that completely changes the outlook of the season for the Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah, I think you had that 9-game win streak before. You go on a little bit of a run after that. You bring this kid up, and there has been an energy that has been injected into this team that is now even moving towards the offensive side of the ball as well. Even in his debut, you saw, I think it was a 6-run inning. But in the last 3 games, and these are against solid teams, mind you, Chicago on the getaway day, and then, of course, Minnesota the last 2 games, 34 runs in 3 games. This team is starting to explode. You're seeing it with the pitching. You're seeing it with the offensive capabilities as well. And it's not with home runs. It's not with power. It's not with the cheap shots. They have been just the 3rd team since World War II to score 26 runs amongst 2 games without a home run. And that I got to credit to Dom Contronio on the Brewers broadcast. But it's been good offense. It's been good hitting. Isaac Collins looks great. Bryce Terang is there. Sal Frelick does all the little things right. Christian Yelich continues to hit at this 350 clip over 30 games. Jackson Chourio was on an 11-game hit streak. This team, you're starting to see what this ceiling could look like. How much do your expectations fluctuate? Because I talked to my friend Aaron about this, and he said when it comes to the playoffs, that there's so much talent in the National League.
Yeah.
Is there a point where you start to believe that this team can actually compete if they can even get to the playoffs? Because I think Chicago is going to be really tough to overcome as well.
So my mentality, as documented on the cheese this whole time, is that this Brewers team has the pieces to win a lot of games, be competitive with a lot of teams, and then get absolutely smoked in a quick 3-game series because we don't have that star power. If we can get hot, we can go on a 10-game win streak. 15-game, we can get really, really hot. We have a full, 7 guys that can hit the ball pretty well consistently, a good defense, pitchers that always pitch all right. But when you get into the playoffs, it's about having those dogs, having that reliable number one. We do this. You're not going to stop it. We're going to show up. If you're the Yankees, we're going to show up. We're hitting 2 home runs today. Like, you guys better score 3 or more, or you're going to be in trouble. The Brewers did not have that until now. They have a starting pitcher. If I'm looking at a playoff series, we can go Miz and then Freddie and then a full bullpen day. I feel really, really good about those three games right there. It's not the 3rd guy yet, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens with Woodruff. I don't think we could keep commenting on Woodruff because the more we talk about him, he keeps getting hurt. Shout out Garrett Mitchell. Hope his shoulder's all right. He hit today. No, I think that Miz absolutely changes our playoff atmosphere because he is a reliable source. And I had something written down before these 3 games that I thought was a really good point. And, the past 3 games have kind of undermined this from me, but the Brewers have been playing like a team that gave up Willie Adames and did nothing to bring him back or fill that hole. There's a hole on the left side of the infield, third base, shortstop. Wow, you got rid of your really fantastic shortstop and you did nothing to, fill that hole. We see it. Oh, you got rid of the guy who's going to hit 30 home runs in a season. We see it. So we got rid of that spark, but if Miz can do that, if we can bring that energy back, and I said it when he first pitched, is it looked like the hitters got excited to hit for him,
Yes.
to get this guy a win on his first day. If that's what it takes for these bats to get going, it doesn't need to be Willie batting fifth. Maybe it's the pitcher that's going to get these bats going, because these guys are talented enough to get hot and go on a run. I still don't think they have that piece that they have 9 full hitters to win more than series in October. But we have Mr. Reliable, and that's what it's going to take when the series gets short and you need some action done.
I do have to say that since you wrote that, or at least when I'm guessing you wrote that, Joey Ortiz is 9 for 20 at the plate, and he looks very comfortable.
Yeah, and it's breaking my heart because I want to see him keep hitting bad so he gets sent back to Nashville. It breaks my heart every time I see Ortiz get a hit because it's so he's delaying the inevitable. It's like when Brooke Lopez would get blocks late in the season. It's like, no, stop, hit the bench.
And I've been on this point. I don't think Joey Ortiz is ever going to be a good major league hitter. If you see an average hitter out of Joey Ortiz, you're getting a win. I really, truly believe that, but I do think that hitter is in there. I think we saw it for a good stretch to start the season last year. And this year, he just started his season like he ended his regular season last year. Really, really, really bad. A $185 batting average, like unplayable offensively. But now you're starting to see this hot stretch come along. You're starting to see him become more comfortable. And Caleb Durbin, I've become more and more comfortable with him. Like both of those guys, yes, they are the weakest spots in the lineup, and that's not going to change regardless of what the rest of the field looks like. But if they continue to put good at-bats together, these guys can put bunts down. They're both athletic. They can run the bases. I got to see a little bit more defensively from Durbin. There are a couple of balls where he's still working through it. He's not a natural third baseman. You can most certainly see that. There was a ball today. It was a one-hopper. He waited way too far back on it and allowed an infield single. Like it's little things like that, which I do think he's going to get better and more comfortable the more he plays that position. And there is room to improve there. Like I think there's a guy you need to bring in to be able to fill one of those two spots, and then Durbin or Ortiz can be that backup infielder. And then I think I feel really good. I think I do. I don't know where that comes from, but that brings me to my next point. And it kind of goes along with we don't really have a number 3 starter either, which I mean, there are a lot of guys that have pitched really well this year. You can say Quinn Priester has had a really solid season. Jose Quintana, his ERA for the season is under 3 right now. His numbers look good. This is the last year of his contract. It's a very interesting situation when you look at the entire landscape of things. Logan Henderson is still in AAA. Robert Gasser is probably going to get some innings in September. We have no idea what's happening with Brandon Woodruff. What do you think happens at the trade deadline? Do you see this team buying, selling, or maybe a mixture of both?
It would break my heart if we sold. Somebody I was thinking about potentially selling high on was Rhys Hoskins. He hasn't done himself a lot of favors in the past 3 weeks, but I think we had an opportunity to really sell high on him. It gets out of a big contract, and what he was doing for the first 10 weeks of this season might not be numbers that he's going to be consistently hitting. So I think there was an opportunity for Rhys to get sold there. I'm comfortable moving someone off the pitching staff, but I really don't hope, and I haven't seen the contract situation, if someone's on a end of the year deal or something like that. I like this crew, man. I really do. I think we can get hot. I think we've got some guys. I think we've got a 1A and a 2A pitcher right now, and Freddie's the 2A. And when you've got guys coming up to the plate, and it's anybody in the top five, and it's crunch time in October. I feel good with being at the plate. I feel good with
Oh yeah.
Turang being at the plate. I feel really good with Churio, Yelich, Contreras being at the plate. I mean,
Yeah.
and if he's swinging anything like the past couple of weeks, dude, don't sleep on Isaac Collins. His batting average might start to skyrocket. This is a great time to buy low on Collins. I've seen this stat, and maybe you can give me some filler on this. His jump on the ball from the outfield is like the best in the league, and I've seen
Yeah.
some highlights of him where it's a game changing play where the ball's off the bat and he's already in that direction. It seems extremely relevant that like he's got this instinct and a quick jump off the ball, and it's changing plays in the outfield.
And you can see all of his peripherals, and they are really good. But then you can look at your Brewers Facebook group chat, and people are saying that he's not a good outfielder. And a lot of that is due to the fact that he gets such a good jump that he ends up being around balls that he has no business being around. I
Mm-hmm.
still go back and I think to that Pittsburgh series where he had one go in and out of his glove near the left field foul line. He had like the percentage chance of him getting to that ball, I think, was less than 2%. But because he was there, he had a chance to make the play, and he didn't make the play. But he's very similar to a Blake Perkins. Him and Perkins, when Blake Perkins
Oh
comes
God,
back
I
up,
hope he's better.
I mean, yeah, I would hope so too. But you have two very good defensive outfielders. Both of them are very good number fours. They're going to fill needs. I mean, Collins he's played infield before in the past. I don't think that they're thinking about that. Really, the only hole that you need to fill defensively is third base. I
Yeah.
feel comfortable with Joey Ortiz, but you have a lot of players that, like, yes, you could probably throw them at second, but you don't need to because you have the best second baseman that any of us have ever seen. And it's a good problem to have, but that's where the defensive hole is, and you can't move any of these guys there. I mean, by the point that Perkins comes up, there's probably a good chance that there's an injury, and we don't even have to worry about who gets moved off. But Collins has been holding his own, and I actually, up until last Thursday night, I know he leads this team in WRC plus for anybody over 100 plate appearances, which it's a nerdy stat, but it's a good stat. It, like, for overall offense, how many
What is it?
runs you create. It's weighted runs created plus, which takes into like ballpark factors. Like someone who creates a bunch of runs over in Colorado isn't going to mean as much as if you
Sure.
create runs like out in San Francisco, like things like that. But a very good offensive player to this point. I think we've seen his ceiling. I'm going to say that. You can look at what he's done in the minor leagues.
He's young though, isn't he?
28. Huh?
Oh, really?
No, he's been a career minor leaguer. He was actually
Sure.
designated. Well, he was released by the Colorado Rockies just a couple of years ago, which is really ironic because Isaac Collins right now would very easily be the best player on the Colorado Rockies, but here he is for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Isaac Collins turns 28 tomorrow. Happy early birthday to you, my friend.
Happy early birthday, Isaac Collins. Wow, look at us. We are ahead of the ball game here. We beat everybody. But yes, he's been a diamond in the rough for this Brewers team, and he's filled such a role that they've needed. And you brought up Garrett Mitchell. Today he slid back into first base, messed up his left shoulder. It's the shoulder that was surgically repaired 2 years ago. That it's every year, and you don't know what it's going to be, and you feel so bad for the kid because you know how talented he is. You know what he looks like when he's right, and when
It's
he's
been
on the
two
field,
years.
he's so valuable.
It's been 2 years since his debut game where he hit the walk-off double, right? Was that his? I think that was his first major league game. He ended up walking it off. I think it's been 2 full seasons since then.
Yeah, you're coming. Yeah, exactly. Because
And and the ceiling was so high. We were so we thought we had one of those
the
ones
first round
in
pick.
Garrett Mitchell. Yep.
First round pick that flew through the minor leagues. They drafted him during that COVID draft. I think he actually came up that end of that 2022, that season. So his first full year in the minors was 2021, and then came up in 2022, looked really good at the end of the year. Then 23, of course, looks good when he's on the field, got hurt. Last year, same story. This year, struggled on the field, but got hurt once again, and it's something different every time. And I feel so bad for him, but there comes a point where you don't put any chips in for him anymore. You don't have any expectations. And really, when you look at this Brewers farm system, it's okay. You have monsters that are going to be coming up onto this team in the next 2 years where you don't need a Garrett Mitchell, but a healthy Garrett Mitchell would be one of those guys that I think would really change the landscape and maybe be someone who you'd feel really comfortable to maybe place a hefty World Series bet on this team.
Can he play third base?
Right. Well, I mean, you got a couple of kids that I think are going to be able to play third base in the next couple of years. But right now, that's your hole. And like I said, Durbin, he's looked good, but he's still not a starting third baseman. Like, he's looked good for that backup infielder that you are comfortable with playing every second or third day. And that's what they have right now. So I think that'll do it for our Brewers talk today. Oh, actually, continue.
Oh, no, dude, I think I was doing the same thing you were. Speaking of baseball, I want to give a quick shout out. I want to give a quick shout out to Pat Connaughton, who signed his extension, his player option today. He's going to be playing basketball for $9.6 million for the Bucks next year. That is almost 900% more than he would be making on the open market. This is a minimum type of player, but you know what? I think the Bucks season is saved. Pat is playing for us. Last time he played a regular season game, 43, 11, and 5. Add 2 steals to that. I think that's pretty good. Pat Connaughton, when the series against the Suns was tied 2-2 in that pivotal Game 5, he had by far the highest plus-minus on the floor at plus 21. The next highest is plus 10, is 11 points, 9 boards, couple steals in 31 minutes. Look, the whole bench was scrubs, and Pat Connaughton stepped it up. He was a 4th-round pick for the A's in 2014. I want to say 121st overall. He was throwing a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. So he came out of his junior year at Notre Dame, signed with the Athletics, played a little bit of single-A summer ball, took that $428,000 signing bonus, and went back to college after about 5 games of single-A.
Yep.
Said, thank you very much. I'm going to be a basketball player now.
Yep.
And here he is, winding down his career. I mean, he's a class act. Everybody in Milwaukee loves him. I want to see Pat Connaughton's number in the rafters. And hey, shout out to Pat. He's going to be playing for the Bucks next year.
Are you kidding me? You say, okay. So he signed an extension, right? You said 9.5.
Yeah. Exercised his player option, yeah. So he could have been a free agent if he wanted, or he could take the option and play for $9.5 million.
Okay, what I have to say is that contract that he signed might be one of the worst that I've ever seen. Like, it's bad. You're paying $10 million for the 7th or 8th guy off your bench.
13, 14, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe 6th. Look, 43, 11, and 5.
Nobody was playing that day, Sam.
43, 11, and 5?
That was a G League game. Yes. Okay. Love Pat Connaughton.
Dunk contest
Great
legend.
guy. He was there for the championship. This dude has been eating so much money that could be used in so many better avenues. And even this year. That's my opinion. That is me looking at numbers. Yeah. Go pour yourself another glass of whiskey. Pat Connaughton, you're telling me this is a good thing? You want his number retired? Pat Connaughton has ate so much money rotting away on that bench.
Put Pat in the rafters. He's great for the locker room. We need more Pat on this team. You talk about a spark. We're so mad when Willie Adames gets traded, and then we're so mad when Pat Connaughton stays. This is exactly what this Bucks team needs.
Hey, I wasn't mad.
65 wins next year.
You see what Willie Adames is doing this year? He's barely hitting his own weight. Willie Adames. I mean, your glue guy is not your Pat Connaughton. I'm sorry. I don't know how much a Pat Connaughton on your bench makes a difference to the Milwaukee Bucks winning basketball games.
Where it might be the best. I think so. The him signing this player option though, it does open up some things. So if nobody's going to take him in a trade, but if we can package him in a trade, to get back to like real relevancy, Now we have 9.5 more million to package. So if we do a sign and trade with Bobby as well, so say Bobby signs for 20 million a year, we can package Pat and Bobby that 20 million and this 9.5 and go get a $30 million player. So
Who's
it's not
gonna
all.
who's gonna take those contracts
I
in
don't
their
know.
right mind?
Matt
Like what?
Ishbia on the Suns seems like a pretty bad GM. He might take.
See that then, and that's my point. Which we'll try to move on here because I know we got some good cheese graters on the way. But I mean, like I said, Pat Connaughton, he'll be a guy I remember, not a guy I wanted to remember being on this team for that long. That's where I'll leave it. Sam loves it. He's got the number 6 up. I'll let you explain number 6, and I'll let you lead us off in our cheese grater as well.
Dude, Bucks and 6, baby. That's the number
Okay,
6.
that's fair.
Go Buck. It's always Bucks and 6, and we don't win in 6 if it wasn't for Pat Connaughton. Like I said, dude, the whole bench was scrubs. Pat Connaughton was showing up playing 30 minutes a game in the finals. Um, Legend in Cream City. Put the number in. Okay.
Please go
um,
on.
let's bring it back to pitching here. You're a pitcher. You get 3 pitches in your arsenal. Kind of pitches are you throwing? Give me your preferred. You're building Cody Depius, major league closer, any
Oh,
mile per hourage. Tell me your 3 pitches.
so I'm a closer. I need 3 pitches. And I'll attach a player to it as well. Give me Aroldis Chapman's fastball that is still playing incredible in his
Yeah.
16th year in Major League Baseball. I actually got to see him in year 1, too. I don't know if I mentioned that on the pod yet, but give me Chapman's fastball, the fastest of all time recorded by a gun. Give me Mariano Rivera's cutter. I think we've also had that conversation. That pitch is probably the best of all time. He only needed that pitch. And get funky, give me Devin Williams changeup because that's a pitch
Yeah.
I've just never ever seen. That was a dude he could just throw that pitch and be fine as well. Those are all I need, and really, you could live with just Aroldis Chapman's fastball. You could live on either one of those 3 pitches on their own and have an all-star closer. But you give me all 3 of those, you maybe give up 1 or 2 runs in a year. like
That's
that.
a junky lineup right there because it's either coming in hot, coming in on your hands, or just falling off the face of the earth. I love it.
Yeah, no, those will be my picks there. I'm a pitching. I'm not gonna say guru, but I'll say pitching junkie, and that's why Jacob Misiorowski gets me feeling some type of way, and I'll just leave it there. How does this Pacers run make you feel as a Milwaukee Bucks fan?
A little bit vindicated, man. I think this Pacers team is and has been a really good team that knows what they're doing, that they can game plan well. And dude, Rick Carlisle is in his freaking bag right now. I
Yeah.
need to give Rick Carlisle a big shout out. He's the guy who coached the 2011 Mavericks to beat that Heat team the first time that the Heatles were together and they were supposed to be the greatest team. It was Rick Carlisle, man, and he just had glue guys everywhere. It wasn't anybody changing, the world out there. Yeah, Dirk was
Tyson
fantastic.
Chandler, baby.
Yeah, Dyson Chandler, Jason Terry was fine, an old Jason Kidd. Like we don't remember much of that Dallas team, but Rick Carlisle is in his bag, and in Game 6, he turned the defensive notch up a little bit. There's a couple blueprints for Indiana to win the series, and nobody thought it was defense, and they turned the ball over. OKC was turning the ball over left and right, and dude, just major shout out to Rick Carlisle. This Indiana Pacers team, they know who they are. They stick to that. They play really good basketball.
Yes, they do.
A little bit vindicated on the Bucks.
Yep.
What's your least favorite speed limit to go exactly that speed limit?
It's gotta be 35. Because a 35 always feels like it could certainly be a 45. Like everywhere.
Just a couple houses on the road and it's ruining it for everybody.
It's like, I mean, the kids are there. Like, I mean, they're there, but they're not like running out in the street like they are in a 25. Like, if it's a 25, I mean, I'm going to probably go 25. I feel like I should be, yeah. But like a 35, it's like you're usually just about to get on the highway. I'll say the end, like that last, like 200 yards of a 35-mile-an-hour speed zone that's about to kick up to a 55, that's when it sucks the most, especially in the state of Wisconsin. What's your quick answer on that?
Man, I think 35-40 was what I was sitting on as well, right in that range. Whatever Losey is if Losey is 30, then it should be 55. That's all I'm saying. Not to incriminate.
I think Losey's 25.
That's dirty work.
If you're going north up to Onalaska from La Crosse, it's 45. And that's the slowest 45 you'll ever feel in your life. I will say that. I would have loved to talk about it. We'll probably get to it next week, but Jair Alexander signing a 1-year, $6 million contract with Baltimore. Apparently Green Bay offered him. They just didn't offer him guaranteed money. How should Jair Alexander be remembered in Green Bay?
A really, really good corner. It should be nothing but love for Jair, man. And it wasn't any fault of his own. Like, maybe he had some words with, ownership about contract situation.
Maybe a little. I'll say maybe a little.
Yeah, but he's a top-rated corner in the league, dude. And if the Packers really weren't offering him any guarantees, I think both sides are right in this situation where Jair should be paid like one of the best corners in the league because he is. And he was an awesome guy for the Packers. Everybody loved him. Maybe a bit of a stitch in the side of management, but that sounds like someone that I can get behind. So I think he should be up there with the Sam Shields and the Nick Collins of someone that's just, you got mad love. You're never buying a drink in Green Bay.
Well, that's kind of just your life motto, though. Always be a stitch in the side of management.
That.
Jair Alexander, I agree. I wouldn't say to no fault of his own, a little bit, but I really, really would have loved to see him come back on 1 year, $6 million guaranteed. If they would have been able to restructure that, nobody would have been frustrated. Like, even if Jair only played 4 games next year, that's totally fine. It's just, I don't know where those restructuring the contract conversations even went or how those were. I don't even know how truthful Jair Alexander's dad is being about these talks and these conversations. Those might be falsified as well, but I tell you that contract is really doable, even for a banged up player that Jair Alexander could have been.
Shout out to him playing with his buddy Lamar out in Alton, Baltimore. I'm glad it's not the NFC North. Hey, I'm taking the over on this. Over under 1.5 no hitters for Jacob Misiorowski in a Brewers uniform.
In a Brewers uniform, over under, I have to go under. I watched Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns had a stretch.
Oh, this guy's different, Cody. This guy's different.
He is different, but baseball is so funny. So Nolan Ryan, he has 7 no-hitters in his career. How many Cy Young awards does he have?
1.
He has 0.
Really?
Nolan Ryan has more no-hitters than anybody by a country mile and does not have a Cy Young. Give me the Cy Young awards. Even if you went over under 1.5, I'm still going to go under because baseball is just funny. And you can be the second best or it can be the 9th inning and you let a little squibbler get down the third baseline and that's all it takes. But it's crazy to think what we've seen him do right away. But
it doesn't feel like a fluke to me. That's what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't feel like a fluke.
What I'll say is I would not be surprised if there is a 5 earned run plus start coming in the next 3 weeks. I'll say that. Sure. I think that could be on the horizon. Really quick, if you could bring back one player back from the past that same year, who would it be for the Milwaukee Brewers?
Milwaukee Brewers 1 year from the past. Dude, we've said his name before. CC Sabathia is a great answer just because we don't have an all-world third baseman available. I want CC. I think the starting pitchers are a game changer. But give me Ryan Braun at third if I can.
I like the CC answer. I think I'll agree with that. Do you have one more grader real quick?
No, I'm feeling great, Cody.
All good. I as well. Thank you guys for listening to our Buzzed Up Cheese podcast. This has been another edition of A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast.